Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 7th of June 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Friday's afternoon session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, let's quickly jump into the charts. Now, before I talk about these here, as you probably are aware, we did get our the US NFP numbers, well, the unemployment number stayed the same as expected, but the non-farm payrolls, as you probably are aware, have dropped quite significantly. It kind of didn't meet the expectations by far. So it came out at around 75K against the 185K expected, and also we did get our average or hourly earnings slightly to the downside. The expectation was a 3.2, and it came out as 3.1. So basically, not something good that could support the US dollar. And we're seeing that effect across the board. But for now, the first chart that I really wanted to quickly touch on is, of course, the Nasdaq100 here. So looking at the cash index of Nasdaq100, we can see that it is already above its closing price. It's yesterday's closing price, so it's already slightly above the 7,300 level. In a way, it's currently balancing around here somewhere near this 200 EMA. So we will see a nice good little gap here to the upside. Still, for us to get comfortable with higher levels, ideally we would like to see a nice good push above this here, the 7,355 level. This way it could open the path towards higher levels, and the target for us here is this little high here near the 16th near the highs of the 16th of May, around the 7,605 level. So this is going to be our target, but only if we see a nice good strong push above the 7,355 level. So for now, be very careful. Certainly it is pushing higher. That said, we need that confirmation break before we could target further upside. In terms of the downside here, well, if this suddenly drops back below this downside resistance line and falls below the 7,205 zone approximately here, then, well, we could target slightly lower areas. Initially, what we're going to do is we're going to target the areas around here, around the 7,045, 7,000 level itself. Of course, the last point here for us from the very short-term perspective will be this 6,940 zone approximately there, where the index found good support on the 3rd of June. If we see such a move towards this area, then we'll be very careful, because we may see maybe a small rebound here, push higher, but the only thing is that if this fails to withhold, if the 6,940 zone fails to withhold, then, well, this would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and this could roll over and slide further down. For now, it seems that the downside could be slightly off the table, but again, let's wait for that confirmation break here, and for us, that's a break above the 7,355 level. So keep your eyes on this one. S&P 500. Now, very quickly on this one, also looking at the cash index right now, it is accelerating, so it is kind of playing out nicely now with our scenario here. Now, I talked about this one in one of my previous videos where I covered S&P 500, and basically What I was saying is that we need to see a nice good break here above the 2,830 zone, approximately there, in order to kind of consider higher areas. And by higher areas, we're not going to go crazy here. We're not going to go too much to the upside. We're just going to target around here, around this area near the 2,892, which previously acted as a good area of resistance here back on the 10th of May and also on the 16th of May. So good potential target. Let's see if it actually manages to do that. I'm not excluding the possibility of seeing this one pushing a little bit higher here, but let's say failing somewhere around here near the 2,873, something like that, and then reversing back down, and then maybe curving up and then pushing higher again. So like I said, I'm not excluding this potential scenario here. Could be that. Yep, let's see how this is going to work out. For now, this is all looking quite good for the S&P 500, but let's say if this suddenly starts dropping below the 2,785 zone, well, this could turn out to be ugly for the S&P. And by the way, we can get rid of this little tentative downside resistance line now. So in a way, if we see a drop below this area approximately here, then yep, we will target the low of the June 3rd. Initially that's near this level right here, near this 2,730. so keep your eyes on this one. There are some good levels beneath that, but for now it seems that the downside could be slightly off the table unless it's a small correction. So for now, keep your eyes on some higher levels. Let's see how this is going to play out today. Jumping into gold. Gold is pushing to the upside, so you can see that the dollar is getting weaker, and basically it's kind of having a nice effect here on gold. Gold is accelerating, and this is what I was talking about this morning. Basically, we may see this one correcting a little bit lower. Initially, I was targeting this 1328 in a half zone, but as you can see, it never kind of reached it. It just fell shy from just a dollar or something like that from reaching that area, and reversed higher and is now pushing above its R1. Today's R1 is getting closer to the R2, which is around the 1346 level. So I talked about this one as well this morning. So let's see if it actually manages to reach that, or even maybe it actually breaks that. But for now, of course, we are more positive than negative on this one. Let's see if it actually reaches that. But this is our target, and if we do see a test of the 1346, then well, we'll just play it very carefully and cautiously, because at some point we could see a nice, good, strong correction here to the downside. But if it continues to trade above the 1320 zone, then well, we'll continue aiming for higher levels. If this suddenly drops below the 1320, then well, we could see this one correcting back down all the way towards the psychological 1300 level and around there. But for now it seems that yep, it is aiming higher. Let's see if it can reach the R2, today's R2, which is around the 1346 level, and if it does that, then well, we'll take it from there, see what it wants to do. If it wants to push a little bit higher here, it would be interesting to see if it actually reaches the 1350 zone. So nice, good, beautiful number of 1350. But if it actually struggles to overcome the 1346, then well, we could see a small correction back down. So keep your eyes on this one for now. Like I said, we are more bullish than bearish on this one, but let's not exclude that it is quite overextended here on the shorter time frames. So a small correction, or maybe a little bit of a deeper correction, let's put it that way, could be possible to see. So for now, that's the game plan, and yep, let's see how this is going to work out later on. EURGBP, now this one is on fire, and the last well, it is pushing higher now. It's initially this morning was selling off, it dropped below its pivot, but now as you can see, it's pushing towards the this key barrier here near the 0.8888 zone, approximately there. Nice, good, beautiful number, but it's trying to break it now. Slightly above that, we do have today's R1, which is also near this very nice area of resistance near the 0.8905 zone. zone, just to show you what that level was here in the past. And let me just drag back this one. So this is basically the low here, this very good area of support of the 25th of December, and we could see this one getting tested again, or should I say could be this time could get tested, but it would need to first, let's say, stay, the 4-hour candle here would need to stay above this 0.88 zone before we could aim for slightly higher levels. You can see that here, back here on the 4th of June, the pair also tried to test that area, but kind of failed just by a few pips, and then sold off and traveled a little bit lower. Excuse me. So for now, it is looking positive, but let's say we need to see that nice good close, at least at the 4-hour candle above this 0.8888 zone before we could aim for higher levels. So keep your eyes on this one, guys. In terms of the downside here, well, I mean, it's quite far away from the breaking point here for us. What we're looking here for is the area around the 0.883230 before we could consider further declines here. But for now, it seems that the downside could be slightly off the table unless this sharply reverses back down and drops back below the pivot today. So then there could be a bit of hope here for the bears. Jumping into USDCAD now very quickly. Now this is what I was talking about this morning, and I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this long-term upside support line. So basically now this long-term, actually even I can call it trend line. So this has been running from the lows of 1st of February 2018. You can see that it broke it to the downside, yep, and it managed to reach one of our levels that I talked about this morning as well, the 1.33 zone. So it did overshoot it a little bit, but as you can see now the bulls are trying to push the pair back above it. The big question here is, will this stay today below this long-term upside support line? If it does, then yep, we could see more selling going into next week. But if this reverses back up here and we see the pair pushing back above this long-term upside support line, then well, there could be a chance for the bulls to recover here some of its losses there and push this one higher again. For now we're going to continue observing this one. For us, we're going to just leave it right now and just see how today's day is going to end up. And where the pair is going to end. Is it going to end below this upside support line, or actually will it reverse sharply and push back above it, above this trend line? But for now, it seems that it doesn't look quite positive here for the USD-CAD. But again, anything could happen. We still have the full US session to go through. So be very careful on this one, but for now, just judging from the picture that we're seeing here right now, there is more chances for this one to push further down. And if it does continue falling here below the 1.33 zone, then 1.3245 is the one for us to watch. But if it doesn't reach it today, then this could be something for next week. And the last pair very quickly is the USDJPY. Now let me just quickly jump into this one. So USDJPY also selling off. So it's falling, but it is currently balancing near this key area of support, previous support around the 108.04 level. So you can see that initially it dropped below it a little bit, but now the pair is kind of flirting with this 108.04 level. For us, let's say, to get comfortable with further declines on this one, we would ideally like to see a drop below this level right here. Let me just quickly put this one here below the 107.75 zone, and only then we will target further lower levels, because this way, on a break here, the pair would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and it could open the path towards further declines. For now, it is kind of balancing near this 108 zone. Let's see if the bears have enough steam to push this one further. But if it drops below the 107.75, then this is where it could become very interesting for more bears, as more of them could start joining in here and pushing this one further down. For us, let's say, to aim for higher levels, well, ideally we would like to see a push back above this or should I say initially a push above this downside, the short-term tentative downside resistance line taken from the high of the 21st of May, and only then we will aim for higher levels. For now, it's nowhere close that line, so in a way we are more bearish than bullish on this one, but then again we need that confirmation break in order to consider further declines in the near term. Okay guys, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching until the end. If you want to join me on Monday morning, as always, in my Traders Espresso, and that's 6 o'clock GMT time. For now, I hope you have a wonderful evening, wonderful US trading session if you're trading that, then, and I'll see you next week. Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.